Mr. Romanko.
Domo arigato, geek to me radio, da 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 da. Domo arigato, geek to me radio, da 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 da.
Welcome, geeks and nerds, girls and boys, to the first Geek to Me Radio of 2025. Tonight, we'll hopefully be talking with Rick Remender about his comic from Image, The Seasons, about some of his other work, too. If not, if he doesn't join us, we've got other stuff anyway. Joey B and I are going to talk New Year's resolutions, and we're going to give our live commentary on the Golden Globes. All that and more, stand by.
We're talking TV, comics and movies, and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek from Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors for Hogwarts houses, one ring rules them all. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
And normally this is the part where I say if you're driving around the greater St. Louis area, but boy, I hope you're not driving around the greater St. Louis area tonight. A lot of snow. We are under a winter weather advisory here in the greater St. Louis area. If you're listening to this online, if you're streaming us on Facebook and YouTube, you don't really care about that because unless you're in Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Illinois, or Missouri, you're probably okay and not snowed in like the rest of us. But for those of us who are here, hopefully you're being safe. Hopefully you're being careful. Hopefully you're all tucked away snugly and you're either watching the Golden Globes like we are here in the studio, or you're just enjoying Geek to Me Radio and all of the shows here on the Big 550 KTRS. If you're hearing us after the fact in the podcast form, we do appreciate you subscribing, tuning in, and listening every week as we bring you this whirligig radio show going on, coming up on our 450th episode already, which I was looking back and kind of piecing together my 2024, just kind of look back as you do on the previous year and give retrospect. And boy, a lot of cool stuff happened. We announced Two Rivers Comic Con, which we'll be bringing you in May of this year, May 23rd through the 25th. That's the number 2 Rivers Comic Con. If you want to go check out the website, we had some other people looking to be vendors for that today. We do still have some vendor space available if you're listening and think you might want to set up and sell whatever it is you've got. If you've got, I know we've got a person who does 3D printing. We obviously have a lot of great comic book stores, Bugs Comics. We've got Comic Relief, several other comic book stores that will be there. Cloud9 Comics, obviously. And then we've got some other dealers from people who are just selling their own personal collections, which is always kind of cool to see. So they're going to want to come out. You're going to want to hobnob with the likes of Mark Bagley, Roy Thomas, Chuck Patton, Keith Williams, Stephen Butler, and more. Plus, we have the Justice League voice cast. We're going to have Susan Eisenberg, Phil Lamar, Maria Canals Barrera. So that's just a few of the ones we've got. I've got a couple other ones I just can't say yet because we're still negotiating things, but hopefully there'll be some surprises coming up here in the next month or two that I'll be able to share with all of you. We're very excited for this con. I'm equal parts excited and nervous because obviously I've never done this before, but I've been to my share of cons. Paul, who is my business partner in this, has a great head about these kind of things and knows what he's doing. So he's the steady hand guiding the ship. And I'm the ball of energy that's just kind of like, what if we do this? What if we do this? So hopefully we'll pull it off. And if we do, we have great plans for a year 2 and a year 3 con going forward. So if you're listening right now, tickets are still at the early bird pricing. December was kind of a weird thing, and it kind of flew by, so we're kind of locking in our early bird pricing still for a little while longer. We're going to change it over on January 1st, but we're keeping them low. So right now, if you go to the website, $15 for a single-day pass, $35 for a 3-day weekend pass. You can come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for just $35. And you heard some of those names I mentioned. That's an incredible deal for what a lot of these cons charge nowadays. just to get in the front door. So we're hoping to bring this to the greater St. Louis, St. Charles area, right there along historic Main Street. We're very excited about the con, and I know a lot of you have expressed your congratulations and your excitement as well. Some of you have already set up as vendors and have already notified us, and some of you who are very excited to just come and be part of the con. We'll be doing a volunteer thing. We're looking for volunteers to help us with that as well. So keep up with the website. Keep up with geektomeradio.com, facebook.com/geektomeradio. We'll have announcements there as well. Follow Two Rivers Comic Con on Instagram and Twitter. It's the number 2 Rivers Comic Con on those apps. And we'll keep up with all the stuff we've got going on. With all that word vomit out of the way, I was hoping to see Rick Remender pop up in the users here, but I don't see him backstage. So we had his artist on for the seasons. What was it, Joey? 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the artist Paul was texting back. I haven't heard from Rick yet. So at the very end, Paul finally heard from Rick, and Rick was very apologetic. Rick sent me a very nice email the Monday after that show and said, hey, really sorry, love to do the show. How about January 5th? I said, great, I'll put you on the calendar. I've reached out twice and haven't heard back from Rick, so hopefully Rick's okay. That's always my worst fear, is that something's happened. But hopefully you just forgot. Again, I'm very forgettable. Ask my wife. But we'll hopefully try to get Rick on. We'll watch for him to come up during the hour, but we've got a lot to talk about anyway because it's New Year. And people make New Year's resolutions. This would be great if I could see the chats, because as I sit here complaining about everything, and you're probably like, why is this guy going on? Restream changed their setup lately, so what I'm going to do is go to my phone and see if I can see the chats there on this. But I'm not sure, Joey, you came in the studio early as well. They were playing on one of the KTRS best ofs that they were talking about New Year's resolutions and the best way to stick to them and don't overdo it, which kind of like seems like, oh, people aren't going to stick to these anyway. Just please, let's not go crazy. Do you do New Year's resolutions?
I am one of those people where if there's something wrong with my life, why wait until the first to do it? Fix it. Yep. But it is a time of year where you are off work maybe, and you are with your family, and you just remember, oh, I need to see these people more often. I need to make more of an effort. We're so busy looking at our phones and scrolling through and seeing a post from them, but we're not actually interacting. And that's the big thing I took away from that best of segment that I heard, was just seeing someone's post doesn't mean you actually connected with them. So I do try and send more letters. I send out Christmas cards.
Yeah. We got a lovely Christmas card of you guys on the beach with a Christmas tree. It was cute.
Yeah, and then, of course, sending text to the group. I've got a brother's text with my brothers that I just message them random I love you stuff. And just reaching out to people, telling them you love them. And, of course, we're always thinking about fitness. And I've always said to myself, I will never get up at 5 a.m. and run. Those people are psychopaths. But there's something sneaky that I like about running at night. 11 p.m. after my girl goes to bed. Just go run around the neighborhood. I live in a fairly safe neighborhood with a nice park that's lit up. And so just running around at night makes me feel like I've earned my tiredness, instead of just laying down and watching a movie. Just go on a run for 20, 30 minutes and then come back in and lay down. And you feel like, I wasn't that lazy today.
Yeah. We have someone on the KTRS text lines, and the 636 area code just said weather. Yeah, I'm there with you, my friend. Weather. What's up with that?
I went and locked myself out of the radio station for a little bit. I didn't know if I should shove a magazine in between the mag lock and, get you in trouble if they have security cameras. So I just thought I'd bang on the glass when I came back. But I wanted to see what the progress was with the weather here in St. Louis. So I went down, and we live in one of these open-air walking mall type areas when we're here at KTRS, and they've got guys with golf carts with completely closed-in roofs, like they're completely, duct tape, they're shrink-wrapped to these golf carts, and they've got snowplows, and they're just going back and forth, and it seems like such a useless gesture, but good for them. And then there's another guy behind him who's just got a shovel, and I bet he's really mad at the golf cart guy. Like, I wish there was room for two in that
golf cart guy's got seniority, shovel guy's the new guy, I'm assuming. That's
exactly,
probably how it works.
But I mean, it is piling up out of there in front of the Rawlings building, and it seems like it'd be really fun if we could get that giant gold baseball that's out there as a statue and just get that off of its base and just start rolling that thing around and see if we can make the best snowman that's ever been made. Just one of the biggest.
We should. That new
Crush
courtyard
a few
there.
cars if we can get it going with enough velocity.
Yeah, that new courtyard out there here in between Westport, where they used to have that sandwich shop right outside the at the bottom of the escalators. That'd be the perfect place to just roll that thing along the courtyard there. All right, I've got the chats pulled up on my phone. Ryan Cooper is watching. Hello, Ryan. Spike Forrester, Heidi ho to you as well, sir. Shannon Musler, Deb Hayes, and Trisha Sowers, hello. Thank you very much for watching. Our friend Chance in Atlanta with the nostalgic pod blast. Can't stay long. Golden Globes are on. He's kidding. Chance has no interest in the Golden Globes at all, which normally, the award shows, I kind of waffle back and forth, but the Golden Globes are, I think, a little more interesting than the Oscars because I do like a lot of the TV because I binge a lot of TV. I feel like you're more movies. Am I wrong, Joey?
I'm very much more movies.
Okay.
There's this saying in Hollywood that if you want to be remembered, you got to make a movie because people don't really remember TV shows as well. You can say, I watched Breaking Bad, but, was there one particular moment? Maybe this is a bad example.
Yeah,
maybe
Breaking Bad would be, yeah.
Maybe more like Married with Children. Like which episode was your favorite? It's hard to keep track because there's so many episodes, but a movie, has staying power. It lasts forever. So I'm very much into movies, and I'm into checking things off lists. As you can tell by my Letterboxd account,
yes,
you can check off a movie from your list in 2 hours, and a TV show takes weeks. So that's more of my completionist brain that just likes movies more.
If you're watching the Golden Globes right now, this is going to be very interactive tonight, folks, because, like I said, my guest has stood me up for a second time. Joey and I plan to talk about this stuff anyway, but it's going to be mostly focused on this. So if you are listening, if you're in the chats, if you had a great Golden Globes moment, someone that kind of made you leap out of your seat, like I was thrilled to see Gene Smart win for Hacks because I love Hacks. It's such a good show. Probably one of my favorite shows of the past 5 years, I think. Gene Smart, Hannah Eidenberg. I probably pronounced her last name wrong, but it's a very smart show, well written. Gene Smart is just really good because you see her in that, and then you see her in the one with Kate Winslet, which was on the same year. It's like, oh my gosh, that's the same woman because she is
Was that Mayor of Easttown?
Mayor of Easttown, thank you.
That was a good one. Good.
I got that
Not
confused
funny,
with Mayor of Kingstown because Mayor of Kingstown, Mayor of East. Yes, but yeah, they're just Gene Smart. Incredibly dynamic actor. So, yeah, if you've got a favorite Golden Globe, you can send us a KTRS text, which I do have those pulled up in front of me, and that has not changed because it's our own system, at 84126. Unlike our weather friend who just sent in the word weather, give us your name. Just say, hi, this is Bob from Kirkwood, or this is Marge from Alton. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out.
Marge sent ya.
That's right. For those Pee
we
Wee
are
Herman
right
fans.
above the Funny Bone, the
Yes.
very famous comedy club, one of the oldest and longest lasting comedy clubs in all of St. Louis, over here in Westport Plaza. And it reminds me that Nikki Glazer is hosting. She's a very famous comedian now, and she's well known as being from St. Louis. And I have a little bit of history with her because I used to go to the Funny Bone all the time. I used to go to the open mics. It was $5, and you got to buy a couple drinks to get out of there. And she would do open mics all the time. And so I'm used to seeing her for free, but now she commands a pretty penny.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's fun to watch some local person become just so legendary, especially with these roasts that she's done. She really blew up this year with the Tom Brady roast on Netflix. So it's cool to see her get her flowers, as they say.
Yeah, it was kind of, I'm sure it's a little awkward when you're hosting and you're nominated for a comedy special, right up there with Adam Sandler, Seth Meyers. But I was happy that now her name's escaping me, the woman who won, actually, and I said, oh, she's from
Ali
Beef.
Wong.
Yes, Ali Wong. She was, I loved her in Beef. That was a great series, and her comedy special one. But if you're hosting, it's like, oh, I didn't win, and you got to go back out there and still host with a big smile. I wonder if that's hard.
Now, you went to see Nikki for money once as well. I didn't just see her for free. She was at the Firebird. I don't think that venue is downtown anymore. I think that one closed up shop. And I went and saw her. It's this rock club where it's basically standing room only and people mosh and stuff. And her mom was running the merch line, I guess. I don't know if her mom was invited to be part of the merch line, but she was just chatting up anyone that would stand there. And it seemed like she was a little drunk, and she was very excited to talk to me because I was a big fan of Nikki, and she was so proud of her daughter. And I had mentioned that I had just heard Nikki on this podcast that I liked, and she just went off on the host. Like, they were so mean to my daughter. It was fun to just get that side of a famous person's mom where she'll, like, go to the mat for him.
Yeah.
And then I had won tickets one time for Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. And randomly, I put them on Craigslist, and the person that bought the tickets was Nikki Glazer's dad. And I don't know how creepy it is nowadays, but I would always meet up at the Emo's parking lot over there by the St. Louis Zoo because I felt like it's easy to get on and off the highway.
Right.
And, people love the emos. There can't be any crime going down around there. So I had him meet me up there, and he wanted to talk about guitars and Brian Wilson for like 10 minutes. And I wanted to just get out of there.
Right.
The
Please let me leave, sir. Please let me leave.
The smoother everything will go. And, of course, I worked over at 106.5 The Arch for a little bit. And her boyfriend is a host on the morning show, the Courtney Show.
I didn't realize that.
Chris Convey. So I got to know them a little bit, and I never got to go on and run the morning show when she was there, but I would hang out with Chris sometimes. And he found out that I worked at a conservative radio station, and he's Hollywood type, and he's very liberal as well. And so he was very upset that I also worked at a conservative radio station.
It's a gig, though. It is what it is.
Like, those people are crazy. I was like, I don't mind. It's a job, and talk radio's fun no matter what, because you get to be on the air like this. If we were doing a music show, we wouldn't get to talk for 10 more minutes or something.
No
so
way.
I just love talk radio in general. It doesn't matter which way they lean, and KTRS is a great station as well.
Yep, I agree. Leah Bryson is watching. Hello, Leah. Thank you for tuning in tonight. All across the St. Louis area, we were all snowed in. Let's go ahead and take a real quick break, just so I can reset my brain.
I'll put a camera on my face. That's
what
tease.
we'll do.
If
Yes,
you
that's
come
what...
back to the live stream, I'll put a camera on my silly face.
There was a reason I was going to take a break, and so we could reset the cameras. And you can find out who Joey is as we have the Jim Blossoms play us out here. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio on the Big 550 KTRS. Please stand by.
Fun when Snubby Gun plays Private Eye, and you can have the same kind of fun with Mattel's Tommy Burst detective set. The Tommy Burst has automatic bolt action. Fire off a burst of 10 shots. Pull the bolt again, you're reloaded. Or fire single shots like a rifle. The Tommy Burst alone is $3. In the detective set, you also get the Snub Nose 38 and Snap Draw shoulder holster. The pistol fires greeny stickum caps and shoots safe shooting shells. The exciting new Tommy Burst detective set includes wallet, badge, and ID card. $7 wherever toys are sold. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
Creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers.
Now, you can make all kinds of lovely things like these with Mattel's wonderful Thing Maker. It makes creepy crawlers, spiders, lizards, snakes, dragonflies. Make them yourself with this nice plastic goop. Choose a mold, pour in the goop, heat it, and presto changeo, you've got bugs. Squiggly, squirty bugs. They feel so soft and natural. You get 4 different colors of goop and special paints. Make charming lizard pins or spider rings. You can collect them or spread them around. After all, they're fun for the entire family. Get Mattel's new Thing Maker with creepy crawlers. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
They're slugging it out in the middle of the ring.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio.
Geek to Me Radio is here every Sunday night on 550 KTRS. The voice of Kevin Conroy bringing us back from commercial break. I see Liz Henning is watching. Hello, Liz. Joseph Rogers is watching. Hello, Joseph. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I want to make sure we tell you about our premier sponsor, the people without whom we would not be on the air right now, and that, of course, is the Greater St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau. You know them from the website discoverstcharles.com. Just wrapped up their big 50th season of Christmas traditions. What a gangbuster blowout that was. I think we experienced every season of the weather that we could possibly have, to point out our friend in the chat from the 636 area code who just said weather earlier. Lots of weather in St. Charles. We had snow, we had nice days, we had wet, rainy days. But you know what? A lot of smiles were had throughout the entire thing. Just the professionalism of the cast and the people who run everything there at the CVB. Great crowds came out. A lot of people had fun. You got their ornaments for the 50th anniversary. We had their wassail cups. We had people just up and down singing songs, and joy to be had all around. And if you missed out on that, well, guess what? They'll do it again next season. So make sure you put that on your calendar starting the day after Thanksgiving. Christmas traditions for 2025. There's always something going on, though. They're just planning now their Once Upon a Valentine's Day festival. I just had a post about that on geektomeradio.com and my Facebook page, facebook.com/geektomeradio. Whether it's one of the fancy events like that, whether it's just a food truck day, whether you just want to go out and get a latte or a coffee at Picasso's, whether or not you just want to get some barbecue from Salt and Smoke or some macarons from Sugar and Slice. This area out here is just fantastic for food, for small shops like Chuck and Lou or some of the great vendors they have got up and down North and South Main Street. Check them out. If you're outside the greater St. Louis, St. Charles area, start your trip at the website, discoverstcharles.com. That's discoverstcharles.com. You can plan your trip no matter if you want, maybe you want a rustic excursion, maybe you want to do some camping, maybe you want to go to a really nice hotel and do it up right. You can start your trip there at the website, discoverstcharles.com. If you are here locally, not now, obviously, because it's really snowy, but once this clears out in the next day or two, go over the bridge. Maybe check out a restaurant you haven't gone to yet, or check out a store you haven't visited, or just go and look around. It's such a cool, fantastic place to have some fun. And pretty soon here in the spring, they'll be starting up their Hit the Bricks tour again, where you can take a tour guide out along the cobblestone streets, and you'll get all the information, all the cool stuff, the backstory about this great historic gem we've got right here in our own backyard. DiscoverStCharles.com. As we always say, it's an historically good time. Chatting Golden Globes. We've been watching that since the night started here in the studio, kind of preparing for it. Gene Smart won 4 hacks, which made me happy. I was also very glad to see the first win of the night went to Zoe Saldana, even though I did not see that project she was in.
Amelia Perez.
It was cool to see her win because she's such a good actor. Everything I've seen her, I've loved her in Star Trek and Guardians, all the stuff she's done. Just a fantastic person. It's her first win, her first nomination. That's always cool to see when it's their first time up and they nail it.
Can I explain Amelia Perez just real quick?
Go ahead. Yes,
plot?
please. Yeah.
This is so bizarre. I'm so glad it got made, but I didn't love it that much. But Amelia Perez, it is made by a French guy, but it's about a story in Mexico.
Right. I got that part. That was weird.
And it's a musical.
Okay.
And it's about a cartel leader who is a man that decides to have a sex change surgery. And so he hires Zoe Saldana, a lawyer, to find him the best deals on a good sex change, to make sure, it's done. He's a criminal guy. He's murdered lots of people. He can't just go anywhere to get a sex change. He's got to get it from shady people like veterinarians or something. I don't know. That's how they did it.
Find the best person, like not the best person, like I'm on a budget. Not like that kind of a best person. Like, get me the best price. Get me the best person who's the best at this job.
Yeah. It made me think of like Breaking Bad, when you're a killer who does something wrong, but you get hurt. You have to go to the veterinarian to get your medicine or something. I think that's what Zoe Saldana does.
Okay.
And so there is this song that is so bizarre. It's called Vaginoplasty. And it's all these doctors talking about sex changes. And they're like, woman to man, vagina to penis. And it is the craziest song you'll ever see. And I can't believe that it got made. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
and it's on Netflix. You can watch it right now.
A lot of stuff I'm on Netflix, I'm like, wow, how did this get made? Netflix is one of those networks that you go to, or streaming service you go to find out, this is something I didn't know was a thing.
So Zoe Saldana won for, I think, Best Supporting Actress, and then the director won for Best Foreign Film. So it's wild that Amelia Perez, I think it was the most nominated as well this year.
It looks like Baby Reindeer won for something we're going to pipe in. I've never done this before. This is exciting. We're going to pipe in the TV audio.
You guys have embraced this show. It's unbelievable. It means the absolute
Reindeer.
world.
I didn't see it,
to us. This,
but I saw the actor
we're so
one
grateful
from that
to Netflix,
earlier.
by the way, for this story, for giving me the chance to tell this messed up kind of story to the world. Thank you to Anne and Lindsay for taking a chance. Thank you to Clockerwell Films, Matt, Petra, Ed, Wim.
Plus
Thank you
we've
to
had
our
it happen
amazing
so
cast,
much lately.
Jess and
Who cares?
Nava. Thank you to our directors, Veronica, Josephine. Thank you to our producer, Matthew, and all the amazing people that worked on the show. Now, a lot of people sometimes ask me why Baby Reindeer, why a show this dark has gone on to be the success that it's had. And I think in a lot of ways, people were kind of crying out for something that kind of spoke to the kind of painful inconsistencies of being human. I think for a while now, there's been this kind of belief in television that stories that are too dark and complicated won't sell and no one will watch them. So I hope that Baby Reindeer has done away with that theory, because I think right now, when the world's in the state that it's in and people are really struggling, we need stories that speak to the complicated and difficult nature of our times.
The whole reason I do this radio show, complicated and difficult natures of our times.
Yeah, that's on Netflix as well, and it's about a comedian who is nice to a woman one time in a bar, and then she becomes obsessed with him and starts sending him these crazed text messages that are always misspelled, and she starts calling him her baby reindeer. And I think you'd like it just for the Scottish accent alone, because when you get going, you will not stop with your Scottich accent, it's a good one, though. That's what's important. Your Scottish accent.
I actually am Scottish. That's probably why. I think it just comes naturally out of my body.
So it's very dark, but it's about a comedian, and it is a limited series. I can't imagine this getting another season. So you know that when it's over, you've got the entire story. That's a problem with a lot of TV for me, is it just keeps going and going. You don't know when it's going to end.
Right.
I would highly recommend watching Baby Reindeer. That's the one that I would say they got it right in the Golden Globes. Good for them, even though I don't care about TV at all.
Right. Well, yeah, it seems to be your sentiment, but no, I'm kind of pleased that some of the stuff that's winning, Awkwafina and Melissa McCarthy are presenting right now, and I like both of them quite a bit.
Now, something else that was interesting is that a lot of my favorite movies are getting some love tonight, because Kieran Culkin, he won for A Real Pain. That was that Holocaust comedy.
Yeah.
He won for supporting actor, even though this is category fraud. He's in the movie the exact same amount of time as Jesse Eisenberg, but that's fine. And then Demi Moore, she won for The Substance. That was my favorite movie of the year.
I know.
So it's great to see her getting so much love. You know, she almost made me cry in her speech, because she was told a long time ago that she is just a popcorn actress and she needs to give up any hope of ever being recognized for her performances. Just be glad that her movies make a lot of money, and that's it. And so she was going to give up acting and altogether, because she's in her 50s now, and that's kind of the point of The Substance, is that this actress who was, you know, had a star on the Walk of Fame was thrown away by Hollywood. That's the whole plot of Substance. So it's so great to see that meta level to her win there.
I noticed on your comments here, I'm just checking the chats, Wicked won for Box Office Achievement, that made-up award. What was the one that won last time? It's like, oh, that's why you gave this. Was it Barbie that won? It's like for Box Office Achievement. It's like, yeah, because you're not going to win anything else. We want to make sure you're recognized, though. Your film made a lot of money. Here you go. That's kind of...
The money was the award all along.
Yeah, I kind of wish they hadn't have made that a category, because it's...
And then, of course, you know, I have always been a big Nine Inch Nails fan, and Trent Reznor just seems so dark and scary and cool. You know, back in 1995, that movie Seven came out about the serial killers.
Oh, yeah.
And they ended it with that song Closer, and it was just, oh, my gosh, that movie blew my mind. I shouldn't have been watching it that young. And so I've loved Trent Reznor ever since, because he's dangerous. You know, same with, Marilyn Manson or Korn, all those other bands that I was
Slipknot,
into.
yeah.
And now he is the most successful composer today, I would say. Him and Atticus Ross together, if you put them in your movie doing the score, it will get nominated. And it's just incredible that he just keeps winning. And it's like he's not even known for Nine Inch Nails anymore. He's known as the guy who does the music for the best movies ever, like The Social Network.
Yeah, that's the one that popped up. I was like, wow, I forgot about, I think I knew that fact, but I forgot about it until they had the little pop-up facts underneath the, as the people are going up to accept their awards, which I kind of enjoying that feature.
Mm-hmm. At first, I thought they were just made-up jokes that Nikki Glaser was writing on the spot, because it said, Demi Moore has thousands of dolls, all with their individual own houses. And I said, quit lying. And then I Googled that, and I was like, no, I guess Demi Moore is a doll collector, and it's gotten way out of control.
I think they're doing Best Series right now. I didn't hear what she said then.
Melissa McCarthy was just on a Five-Timers sketch.
Looks like Hacks won, because that's the head writer, and he also plays on the
Hacks is creator, showrunner, executive producer, writer,
Paul
and
Down,
director.
Paul W. Down.
And creator,
he's very funny in the series as Gene Smart's agent.
And
then
accepting
he's
the
also
Golden Globe
he's the
is
head writer.
star, creator, showrunner, executive producer, writer, and director, Paul W. Downs.
Wow. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's an HBO Max original, but I think it streams on Prime as well. But Gene Smart is just so good. And I remember her from Designing Women. When I was a little kid, I used to watch it.
There's 30 people running through a maze to get to the stage.
Hannah Einbinder and Gene Smart leading the way.
And Hannah Einbinder just keeps going in circles, getting her dress caught on different tables.
If you haven't seen it yet, if you're listening, check out Hacks on HBO Max, or I think it's on Prime as well, but you'll enjoy it. A lot of F-bombs are dropped, so those of you who might be a little more sensitive, you might want to watch it with the kids.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so to the Golden Globes and to all of the international journalists, we want to say thank you grazie, merci, gracias. And my reps did advise me to stop at that and not try anymore. We are so lucky to get to tell this story. And, you know, since language was created, we've all been telling stories, and we're honored to be in this room with all of these storytellers. Thank you to everyone at HBO Max, Casey Bloys, Susanna Makos, Sarah Aubrey, Perlina Ibakwe, and Aaron Underhill, and everyone at Universal. Thank you to our amazing cast, our incredible crew, and of course, our brilliant writers. We do have to shoot tomorrow, and we have a call time of 6 a.m. So if Jean Smart asks you for a shot, please do not give it to her, okay? Kate Winslet, I'm looking at you wherever you are. Give her water, okay? Give her water if she wants it, okay? Just a little shot, maybe one. And we want to say we love you, Lala. Thank you to our family. Thank you to all of you. This is crazy. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yay, I'm glad they won. That's a really good show. You said you've not seen that one at all, correct?
I have watched the first 2 seasons of Hacks, and then I kind of, you know, same with TV, I kind of get bored after a while. So I'm sure the 3rd season was great, but I just took a break.
It ended so well because my wife and I were talking about that with season 2. It ended perfectly. I'm like, wow, 2 seasons and they're done. That's a great, and they brought it back. I was like, really? Mm-hmm. But it was interesting how they brought it back, and obviously they're doing a season 4, as Paul just said, but also because of the way season 3 ends, you realize, oh, they're going to do another season. But if anyone is listening, anyone at all who's any way connected, I would give my right arm to have Jean Smart on my radio show. So please let me know if you know a way to reach Jean Smart and her publicist, because I would love to have her on the show, especially now that Hacks just won again, because it won some, racked up some awards the last time around as well.
I'm a huge Saturday Night Live fan, even if you don't find it that funny. It's a great reality show. See how the different cast members excel at their jobs and how other ones get relegated to the back and end up quitting and writing biographies about how terrible it was. But Hannah Einbinder, her mom is Lorraine Newman.
Oh, yes, from Saturday Night Live.
So I always find it wonderful watching these adjacent projects. And so I did love Hacks and, you know, showing the behind the scenes of writing comedy, especially if you think that your super famous comedian is writing stuff all by themselves on a notepad still. No. They've got some writers with them. Even your Adam Sandler is still going to have a room full of writers that help him come up with these ideas, because you are worth so much money, but you don't live a life anymore where you have different new experiences. It's all airplanes and hotels at a certain point.
Yeah.
So I definitely loved Hacks, the episodes that I did see. And then I read that Jean Smart, when she hosted SNL this season, that she was sick as a dog, and her episode was still pretty great. So it was so fun to know that she's a professional, even when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
She deserves those awards.
And Alex Newcomb is watching. Hello, Alex. Shannon Musler said, Joey, thanks for the updates and the recaps of these shows. That's very helpful. Like I said, someone like myself who's not seen Baby Reindeer and who has not seen the one that now my brain is not working. The one Zoe Saldana won for.
Brain don't work good.
No.
Amelia Perez. That was so funny with Zoe Saldana, because I believe she is part of Spanish descent, even though we only know her as a blue lady or a green lady, as an alien. But I guess, you know, she's also one who can speak the Spanish. Yeah. And so it was fun in Amelia Perez to see her speaking her native language, because it just was a shock a little bit. And then when she was giving her thank yous, she was saying, like, she was putting that accent on real thick. She was like, thank you, Selena Gomez and Margaret Qualley. Because that's how you're supposed to say it. I think Family Guy has a classic joke about that, where news reporters will throw that accent on Spanish names and then revert back to the standard Queen's English when needed.
Yes. The Queen's English, yes. Now the King's English now, because now King Charles.
When I was watching the monologue, the opening monologue with Nikki Glaser, we were hesitant about whether it would be funny, because we're so used to Ricky Gervais being so mean. But since Nikki is a roaster, we thought maybe she would go deep. And the one joke that really made me laugh was she was saying that the after parties are just going to be so boring now that Diddy is in jail. But don't worry, because Stanley Tucci is taking over the freak-offs, and he's bringing the olive oil. We don't have baby oil now, but we got olive oil.
And Stanley Tucci's, they cut to him, and he's like, what? What? I'm not doing that. What? He's another one I'd love to meet. Stanley Tucci, just such a classy guy. I watched him so many movies. Have you ever seen the movie Imposters?
I don't know.
Stanley Tucci, Oliver Platt, Campbell Scott. Who else was in it? Tony Shalhoub. Isabella Rossellini. Fantastic movie. I want to say 1997 or
we talked about
1998.
this, yeah.
Such a good movie. If you're listening to this out there right now and you're a Stanley Tucci fan at all, please watch I think it's just called The Imposters. It's a film, not the TV series, because there's a TV series called The Imposters or Imposters. But Stanley Tucci, Oliver Platt, they're out-of-work actors in the 30s. The bakery scene makes me just roll on the floor laughing every time I see it, and I've seen the movie 24 times at least, or a baker's dozen if you want to say.
This
13
came
times.
up with us because we were talking about how I had seen this movie, The Big Night, with that whole same cast, Isabella Rossellini, Stanley Tucci, Shalhoub, and it's all about them getting an Italian restaurant ready for a very famous celebrity to come, and that's a wonderful film as well. So it was fun that I had this imposters thing to look forward to watching.
Yeah, no, it's very, very good. I've got it on DVD. If anyone has seen that one, let us know in the comments too. I keep reading the KTRS text lines at 84126. If you were listening out there right now, we were gonna do a giveaway for Chef Liz. Gave me a pair of tickets for The Office. I kind of want to save it for next week though, because I just now remembered, and I usually like to try to announce that on social media and at the beginning of the show to give people time. So I'm reminding you now, if you're listening right now, next week, tune in. We're going to give away a pair of tickets to the big Chef Liz event down at Work and Leisure STL for the 20th anniversary of The Office. If you're a fan of that show, she's going to have a lot of games, a lot of fun. We're going to do Office Olympics. She's going to be having contests for the best Dwight lookalike. So come dressed up as your favorite character from The Office, whether it's Kevin or Stanley or Oscar or Angela or whoever it is. If you're a Phyllis lookalike, come dressed as the character. We'll have prizes for that kind of thing as well. And we'll do trivia, and great food will be served at Work and Leisure, which is a fantastic event. They're not a sponsor of the show, but I host those events. Chef Liz is a dear friend, and Raven down there and Jordan at Work and Leisure do such a great job. So if you get a chance to go down there, hopefully you got to spend New Year's Eve with them. They had a great New Year's Eve event there. And of course, the 40th anniversary of Clue. I think that is completely sold out, but she's putting tickets on a wait list. But that'll be coming up. Then she's got some other stuff planned throughout the year. So make sure you follow Tenacious Eats and Work and Leisure on Instagram. She'll always post stuff there. Let's go ahead and take another quick commercial break so we can get ready to wrap up the Golden Globes here. And again, if you have a favorite Golden Globe winner, if there's something you think should have won, send us your information at 84126. Texting rates do apply. Just put your name, where you're calling from, and who you think should have won, who you're glad did win. And I'm trying to watch the chats on my phone because Restream is currently just a cluster and a total dumpster fire. You're listening to Geeks Me Radio on the Big 550 KTRS. Please stand by.
Just push the flying head back and you're ready for round 3.
Boy, this is the greatest!
You bet! The world's only boxing robots. Get the Rock'em Sock'em robots by Marx. Snow, rain, mud. Your car's bound to get dirty.
So give your car a car wash, make it look like new. Watch it in the car wash that lets you see right through. Mr. Kelly's Car Wash, that's the one for me. Hey, Mr. Kelly, wax it beautifully. Drive up the ramp, hook the chain, it runs by battery. Clean, scrubs, and dries your car automatically.
Mr. Kelly's Automatic Car Wash. What a toy! From a hidden tank, fill overhead water tower, hook on car, throw switch, and automatically cars are wet down, scrubbed all over, and dried while you watch. Mr. Kelly's Car Wash comes with 2 late model cars, car wax, towels, sponges, and even a sign. Hey, Mr. Kelly, clean my car like new. Mr. Kelly's Car Wash lets you wax them too. Every boy wants a Remco toy, and so do girls. Mr. Kelly's Car Wash, that's the one for me.
There I was, out on my first assignment for them. Checked my spy attaché case. Burglar alarm off. Telescope set. Code sender ready. Coding machine okay. Signal flasher on. Passport, spy money. Built-in camera loaded. Microphone ready. Testing 1, 2, 3. He's coming through. Loud and clear. He's coming. Agent to the headquarters. He's coming. Hurry.
get your super spy attaché case.
Hi, this is Mira Sorvino. We are live on Geek to Me Radio, and he invented radio.
Because in Romeo and Michelle, she said, we invented Post-its. So I said, you can say, I invented radio. And I don't think she got it. But I enjoyed it. So hopefully you did too. I invented radio just like Romeo and Michelle invented Post-its. Mira Sorvino, if you didn't catch my chat with her, you can go to geektomeradio.com, click on the links there, and see all the back catalog of different celebrities I've talked with lately, all the backlog of shows. If you would, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We are approaching 6,000. I know that's not a lot because I know a lot of YouTubers out there have like hundreds of thousands of people following them, but we're trying to grow the channel, and that always helps us if you can go to youtube.com/geek2me radio, hit the subscribe button, and click the little bell notification. That way you get notified every time we go live with a new show like we are tonight, even though Rick Remender did not show up again. Joey V and I are having a great time talking Golden Globes. And I just now found when I went into the different part, not that this is all behind the scenes baseball, none of you care. I went into a different part of Restream because I had to recalibrate where I was so that Joey V could be on camera as well. And the chat suddenly pops up there. So I just can't see it when I've got a guest who's joining us with video. But Chance, you were talking about the Isabella Rossellini has been around in the business for as many years, just like Jean Smart, and she's another, I think, very underrated talent, Isabella Rossellini, because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't she on Ross's laminated list, like people he'd be allowed to sleep with if they met in public on Friends? I think Isabella Rossellini was on Ross's list. Chance, you might be able to correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I want to make sure we tell you about our comic book sponsor, Bugs Comics and Games. That's Bugs Comics and Games on Facebook, Bugs Comics and Games on Instagram. Make sure you check them out there if you're looking for something new to add to your comic book collection. Larry just might have the issue you are wanting, whether it's a new issue or back issue. There's a bunch of stuff in his store, priced to fit any budget. Brand new comics right off the shelf. Back issues in his dollar bin, back issues in his case. It'll cost you a little bit more, but it's a quality Silver Age book that he's got sitting there waiting for you to come pick up and add to your collection. Bugs Comics and Games, if you're on Instagram, you can look at the stuff he's got posted up there, and if you see something you like, hey, I'd like to have that. Write claim in the comments. He sends you a PayPal invoice. You pay the invoice, and he sends the comic right to your door. If you get the chance to get out there, if you're in the greater St. Louis, St. Charles area, and I was just having a conversation with some people, gosh, who it was it on? I can't remember who it was on Facebook, but we were talking about comic book stores. I think it may have been Craig on Facebook. And I said, hey, if you get the chance to visit Bugs Comics and Games, and he said it's on his list to go out there and check them out. Hopefully he did get the chance to do just that because he's always got new issues. He's always buying comic books, so he's always got new stuff for me to browse every time I go in there. And that may be where you are, too. You may be at the point where you're wanting to divest yourself. Maybe you've just collected. There's no one to pass the comic books on to anymore, and you just kind of want to, maybe it's time to part with your collection. You've been with it for a while, and I had to do that a while ago. Wasn't fun, but it's one of those things we have to do sometimes. Talk to Larry at Bugs Comics and Games. He'll give you a very fair price for your collection. Check him out on Facebook, Bugs Comics and Games, and give this page a like there. Very proud to have them as the official comic book sponsor here on Geek to Me Radio. Coming to the last part of the show, chatting Golden Globes. I think they're at commercial break now. Harrison Ford was up for Shrinking. Joey, did you see Shrinking?
I watched a little bit of the first season. My girl is still watching Shrinking. She loves it. It's just too much of a slow comedy for me, just like Only Murders in the Building. It's not, laugh out loud, even though I'm sure you love it. It's like your favorite show. You just got super excited. You said, I got a free month of Apple TV, and I'm going hardcore on Severance and Shrinking. And then, of course, Blitz, the movie I recommended that you watch.
That's going to be on my show because I'll probably, with all the snow tonight, I probably will not be making the trek into work tomorrow. I'll probably be working from home, which means I can sleep in maybe a half hour, 45 minutes later than I normally do because I don't have to worry about the commute. So I will probably watch Blitz tonight, and I'll let you know how it goes. Just like you got me on Letterboxd, now I will end up going home and watching Blitz.
I forgot to tell you, my girl, for Christmas, she got me 1 year of Letterboxd Premium, which doesn't really do anything.
I was going to ask, what does that do?
It says Pro next to my name. So now when I write my reviews on Letterboxd, people will take me seriously. And then when I tell people I'm a professional critic, it'll mean a little bit more because the word Pro is next to my name. It costs $20 for the entire year. Well, and it means a lot. I think the big thing is I can add more TV services to my where to find this movies area.
Okay.
So if you look up a movie, it'll tell you a couple places where you may be able to find it, like Netflix or something. I can add more services that I use. I don't know. And then I can look at dirty posters for adult films, I think. Usually they're blurred out. I think that's something that gets unlocked.
That's an interesting choice.
I know. Thank you.
Very kind. Dan Young. Outdoors Dan is still listening. He says, best comic book show on the radio. James is the comic Avenger kids can look up to. Dan, thank you very much for listening still. I thought you'd be playing with Raven at this point since Raven was kind of whining on the air, but I appreciate that, Dan Young. Thanks very much. Dan Young, host of Outdoors Dan, comes on right before us. Chance Nostalgic Pod Blast, turned on the Golden Globes. I think it's on NBC Peacock. It is on Peacock, but we're watching it on News Channel 4 CBS here in the studio.
on Paramount. That's correct, James.
So, yes.
Paramount is
Both.
not Peacock. They're just different.
You say potato, I say vodka.
It's on CBS, which is Paramount.
Same. But yeah, so we're, Shrinking was very good. I know Jason Segel was up for his role in Shrinking, did not win. Harrison Ford up for his role, did not win, which when Harrison Ford, I don't know if you really care if you get awards at this point because he's flying around in his planes and he's Indiana Jones, he's Han Solo, who really cares, right?
Oh, I mean, the guy was 90 years old, and Nikki Glazer said that he was just stoned out of his mind, basically, on the show, I think, is what happened. Yeah, and then they make that joke in Shrinking. He takes some a little too much weed. It's very funny. But his character is really good, and he's paired with Wendy Malick, who Wendy Malick will come back and be something we revisit here on the 26th on Geeks Me Radio because there's a small tie-in there. But, Shrinking's a great cast. I'm surprised it didn't get more. I don't think it's won a single thing tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Do you have a list of winners that we've missed out on? Anything you want to discuss here in the final minutes? Well, you know that it's a slow time of the year. They call it Dumpuary, this time of the year for the movies that are in theaters. But there is one that I'm really looking forward to that we haven't even received the screening yet. That's coming up on the 15th for the critics, and that is September 5.
I keep seeing about that. Yeah.
And that one it's about the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich, and it's told from the side of, I think, ABC Sports. Is that what it is?
ESPN. It's told from ESPN's perspective.
And so we've seen the Munich story told by Steven Spielberg, but this is a different way, showing it from the sports side. And so I'm fascinated. Oh, yeah, the ABC Sports crew. So how dare you correct me? I'm going to come over there and just show you
Bring it, man.
1, 2, 4.
Please.
And so I love these process movies where it's usually journalism type stuff. You know, Spotlight is one of those that I love, or newspaper people like The Insider or something. I love movies like that where it shows the inner working of finding out the secrets behind a case or something. And, I love TV and I love radio. And so this September 5 thing it's like a true crime story, but it's told from the journalist, the TV perspective. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think that one's going to get some love at the Oscars as well.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I know when are the Oscars? Are you going to be in March this year?
Very early March.
Okay. It's interesting because the movies they pick here, a lot of people say the Golden Globes are a bit of an indicator, but I feel like last year that was not the case because stuff won Golden Globes that did not win at the Oscars for film. I thought that was interesting that kind of got thrown off balance last year.
The Golden Globes are pointless and dumb and useless, but they are an indicator, and they have the luxury of having drama and comedy. And so they also have 6 movies in each category as well. So just right there, it's like you can just grab anything that's top of the mind that the culture's talking about, that critics are liking, and then you'll say, oh, see, we know good taste, but no, they just have more picks that they can choose from.
And they shove the Bear into the comedy category, which I tried the Bear, folks. If you guys are listening right now and you're watching this and you like the Bear, I worked in restaurants even, and this did not, I suffered through 3 episodes waiting to get hooked, and it just did nothing for me. I do not understand the hype about the Bear. Are you a Bear fan?
I was a huge fan of the first 2 seasons, but this third one that just came out this year was such a bummer, not funny at all, and it's so frustrating that these people are psychopaths. These people that run these restaurants need a new menu every day, don't know how to talk with their employees, and they have troubles at home. And it drives me insane. But then I have friends that do run restaurants, and I know for a fact that they work with literal crackheads. And sometimes there was the guy from Saturday Night Live that was on the Bear, and he was a heroin addict in the show. So it made me think of my friend that has also worked with drug addicts that have tried to rob the the restaurant's safe, and they stayed overnight sleeping in the roof, and then they just crash in through the middle of the night so no one catches them and they can steal the money. My friend who runs a restaurant had this great term, and he says, you don't know who you've hired until that first check clears, which means they'll be on their best behavior, say all the right stuff to get that job. But as soon as that money hits their bank account, they may go and just buy all the pills that they need. And then the next day, you have to grab them because they fell asleep and nodded off, and they fell into the fryer almost.
Oh, my God.
He had that happen to him. Someone almost fell into the fryer, and he had to just save their life, basically, from being scalded.
Ooh.
And that's the restaurant industry. If you work at, just the ones that they work at, it's like a beefsteak place in Chicago. Like, those are just, they'll hire anybody there.
Yeah.
My friend, he's moved on. He's moved on from working the line at these. He started at Sonic, and now he's moved up to a very nice. He's a butcher now, so he's made his life a lot easier on himself.
I've never worked at a chain restaurant. All the restaurants I've worked at, whether it's bussing tables when I first started out as a kid, just got my driver's license, waiting tables, bartending, whatever it was I was doing, I've always worked at independently owned restaurants. I'm not going to name any of them on air. Not that there's anything good or bad about them per se. Just don't want to name them. But I've never worked for a chain restaurant. But I know it's because it's not a chain where the hiring policy might not be, shall we say, as rigorous. But there have been some very interesting characters. I could probably write a book about the people I have encountered. Line cooks, sous chefs, dishwashers, just everybody all the way up and down the board. Other waiters I've worked with who have just been absolute cartoon type characters. It's very funny.
Now, I've been rewatching a lot of films because I got the 77-inch OLED TV and the big 5.1 surround sound system.
Puff. You.
And I actually received a ton of movies on 4K this year. Like, I'm up to 30 now. I mean, that's a huge number for me. Rebuying movies after sitting out Blu-rays, and now I'm back in, and they're like $15 each. So already I've spent over $400 or something. I'm not good at math. I don't do public math. But something that I did, every house that I went to for Christmas, I sat on their floor in front of their entertainment center, and I explained to them, with permission, that I'm going to go through every single one of your movies right now, and I'm going to enter the digital code into my cloud, the Movies Anywhere or the Fandango at Home app, and I'm going to save every one of these codes because it means a lot to me that these don't go to waste. I don't know if you heard, but these digital codes that Warner Brothers had, they would say on the slip of paper in your movie that this is going to expire in 2018, but nobody ever believed that because they just kept working. Well, this past year, Warner Brothers said, screw that, we don't care anymore. Every Warner Brothers movie code that came out and said expire is officially expired.
Wow, really? So even if you downloaded the code and you have it on your Voodoo or whatever your app is, it's gone?
If you didn't enter it into the app before then that code just says this is expired now.
But if you uploaded the code before, before that, it's still in your Voodoo account or whatever cloud account you have.
So I saved, 25 movies or something from my aunt and my dad and my mom, and oh my goodness, it felt so just gratifying entering those codes into my cloud. I think you had that same thing where you didn't care about codes, and then a friend came over and saw the treasure that was
my friend Jay came over. Yeah, Jay, if you're listening, I know he's got a ton because he went through and it took him, because you've seen my bookcase in my living room. It took him a couple of hours to just open up each one. Is this code so good? I'm like, Jay, I never use any of the codes. Go ahead, buddy.
And I just, this past weekend, I was feeling a little under the weather, and I remembered that I had Contagion in the cloud, and I rewatched Contagion, and that made me feel better about, the slight sickness that I had. You can hear it in my voice, but at least I don't have whatever the heck Gwyneth Paltrow had before she had that seizure on the floor and just started foaming at the mouth.
Spoilers.
That's in the trailer, but
okay,
oh man.
All right. But
I respect the codes. That's all I'm saying.
It looks like, that's, let's see here. Let me go to I'm just looked up to our.
Let me describe it. It's some lady that I don't recognize.
To my kids, to everybody, thank you very much. Golden Globe, Michael Barker, Mara, there were so many people. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I didn't get to see who it was but I know some people aren't excited about the Golden Globes. I know Chance had mentioned, our friend Chance from the Nostalgic Pod Blast in Atlanta mentioned he doesn't like award shows anymore. I think a lot of people got turned off to award shows for a while there, but I think who hosts makes a bit of a difference. Who hosts the award shows makes a difference too. And I thought Nikki Glaser did a good job with her 5 costume changes tonight.
That was Fernanda Torres that just won for Best Female Actor Drama for I'm Still Here, and I have not seen that.
I have not either.
I feel like a fraud.
Now, Gal Gadot is presenting for Best Male Actor in a Motion Picture Drama.
Gal Gadot is she served in the military.
She did.
She could break us.
She would. She would
Her
easily
and
kill
Susan
both of us.
Eisenberg could just destroy anybody.
Easily.
It's that Wonder Woman charm.
Chance pointed out Linda Lavin, who recently passed away. I remember her from the TV show Alice, won 2 Golden Globes for Best Actress in Alice, which was a nice show that a lot of people, for some reason, flew under the radar. And then Shannon says she misses Amy and Tina for hosting, which I agree. Ricky Gervais is still my favorite host. I thought Doogie Howser did a good job the year he hosted, though, as well. But let's see who wins for Best. We'll go live. We're going live to Burbank right now, folks, to see who wins.
This is a big award. Male actor, drama.
You ready?
And and the Golden Globe goes to...
I'm going Rafe.
Anybody but Timothy Chalamet. He's so mid. Coleman Domingo's great.
Adrian Brody.
So The Brutalist, 3.5 hours long.
This is Adrian Brody's second nomination and first win. Brody's mother, who was a photographer, also emigrated from Hungary to the United States in the 1950s, much like his character in The Brutalist.
He was very good. I liked his character in The French Dispatch, too, which is my favorite Wes Anderson film, The French Dispatch.
Used to be the youngest winner for The Pianist.
You can't say that on the air.
Hello.
All right, we won't cover his speech right now because, we're coming up on the end of our show. But yes, congratulations to Adrian Brody. I was very glad to see Colin Farrell won for Penguin. Did you watch Penguin, Joey V?
Nah, TV just doesn't hook me, even though that one looks like a really fun mob-type show.
I was surprised. I'm like, I wasn't sure because the Sony movies that have come out featuring Spider-Man villains have been rubbish, total rubbish, start to finish. I haven't liked a single one of them. Madam Web, Morbius, they're all horrible. Kraven the Hunter, I didn't even bother to see that one.
I guess they're copyright grabs to make sure they don't lose the rights to these characters.
Exactly. But so I was kind of like, you're doing a TV show at the Penguin, which I don't know how that's going to work. But I ended up loving it. Very well acted, well written. Colin Farrell gave his acceptance speech for winning for the Penguin, and he shouted out craft services. Any of you who are actors who have worked in small things, like I've done local TV commercials and things like that. Craft services, the people who set up all the food and they do all the behind the scenes stuff, and it's heavy lifting, thankless. So that made me really like Colin Farrell more, that he shouted out craft services for all what they did for him, making sure he had a soda whenever he needed it. And that was very endearing. And I love that about Colin Farrell. So kudos for him. It was a great show and made me like him a little bit more as well for his shouting out craft services.
I've worked crafty as a production assistant, and it's you get a credit card and you just have to go nuts, and hopefully you get the right granola or whatever and bring it back, and everybody stays energetic throughout the shoot. I remember the first time I was told to get a carafe from Starbucks, and I had never heard that word in my life. And I said, What is a carafe? What are you saying to me right now? Is this like some sort of giraffe that's cold or something like that? No, it's like the thing you put coffee in. Right. Like when you make a drip coffee, it's like the glass thing. That's the carafe. And so I think my long storied career in production assistant on reality shows, learning the word carafe finally.
Yeah. So I've been, it's kind of a mixed bag. Like I said, I'm glad Ali Wong won. I was glad that I would have liked to have seen Harrison Ford get one or someone from Shrinking, because that's such a cute show. But I didn't see Severance was, I guess, not nominated for anything. Or was that they took a year off in between, right? Because of so maybe that was the previous year that Severance would have been nominated.
I'm not sure, but I believe that comes back January 18th. And
yes,
actually, the only gift I got my girl was a handmade calendar from Shutterfly of Severance pictures. You can put any copyrighted picture you want into Shutterfly, and they will print that on whatever merch you want. You can get a coffee mug, a calendar, whatever. It's weird that I haven't been arrested by the copyright police, but every year I make her a calendar of a TV show that normally wouldn't have one, like Mindy Project or something, Happy Endings. And so it comes in the mail, and every Christmas she opens it up, and then she goes, I have to sit through this for another year, because I gave her The Bear last year, and we were watching season 3, not liking it, and she was almost a little disappointed. But I think Severance will hold up.
I think so. I think I'm looking forward to it coming back. So yeah, I'm not sure. That's the end of our show. I'm not sure what happened to Rick Remender again, but I doubt we're going to get him on, so that's fine. We're going to carry on. Thank you, Joey V, for helping me do the show tonight and doing the live Golden Globe commentary. Thank you to all of you who, there was a lot of people in the chat tonight. Hopefully I got to everyone and mentioned everyone. Thank you all for watching. I saw a lot of people watching who I haven't seen for a while pop up. So thank you to all of you. Thank you, of course, to our sponsors, the Greater St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau, DiscoverStCharles.com, and, of course, Bugs Comics and Games. Check them out on Facebook, Bugs Comics and Games, and on Instagram, Bugs Comics and Games. Make sure you check out the number 2, Rivers Comic-Con. Get your tickets now before the pricing goes up. We're extending our early bird pricing just a little bit longer. Those will be going up pretty soon. $35 for a weekend pass, $15 for a day pass to come check out all the cool people we're going to be having at 2 Rivers Comic Con. Until next week, my friends. And I'll just turn the camera around because you can actually see it.
That's a show.